There we go. All right. Well, I am super honored. It says on my thing it's Michelle Harrell, but my name is actually Andrea Stutt, and I am a Ruby ambassador, and I am a homeschool mom, but I have a ton of friends and family who are teachers. And so I have often wanted to share the business of Plexus with all of my teacher friends and family. But you have teachers that are passionate about what they're doing and have no desire to quit their job. And then you've got teachers that really could supplement their income, but they wonder how in the world would I have any free time to do a business like this. And so we kind of put our heads together and we found Melanie, and Stephanie and I started talking about me and Caroline and Stephanie and Melanie talking. And so Melanie was like, hey, my upline, Christina Mitty, would probably be willing to help talk, and so anyway, we just decided let's just do a little interview, and I would love to just hear everybody share a little bit of what brought you to Plexus, what you love about teaching, and what you love about how Plexus fits into your teaching jobs. And so I'm just going to just go ahead and just give it all over to Caroline Forson. She's a Silver Ambassador, and I'm excited to hear a little bit about her story. So just take it away.
Okay, am I unmuted? Can y'all hear me? Yes? Okay, awesome. Like she said, my name is Caroline Forson, and I am a Silver Ambassador. I am a kindergarten teacher. This is my second year of teaching. I started Plexus about 4 years ago, and my mom is Melissa Shaver, and she's an Emerald Ambassador, and so she's the one who started me on the products. But at the point when she kind of introduced Plexus into, our regimen, well, she really was like, you're my kid, you're going to take this. She did. But at this point, I was pretty much at the lowest health that I have ever been at. I was doing all the right things. I was working out a lot, eating really healthy, drinking a lot of water, taking care of myself in the sense of what is like the norm, or what people say I am healthy because I do these things. But I did not feel healthy at all. I craved sugars constantly and just couldn't get off of that. I was super tired. I would have to take naps from 2 to 5 every day. It was like the worst thing ever, but it was clockwork. 2 to 5 was my nap time, and everybody knew that. And I could not sleep at night. I had so much anxiety and stress, and it was daunting knowing that I was about to have a full day of school with a lot of kids. And so Plexus just kind of entered in at the perfect time, and I started Plexus in immediate results of energy. I did not crave sweets anymore. I was able to make it through my day without having to take a nap. Praise God for that, because I was so much more productive, and I was able to sleep at night, which was a huge win for me also because I was so exhausted. So anyways, going into teaching, it was such a game changer for me. Teaching kindergarten, I don't know how other teachers don't take Plexus and stay healthy. Literally sneezing all over the iPads. They don't know quite yet how to just take care of themselves. And so health is my immunity is a major thing for me. And so Plexus has been wonderful and just keeping my immunity up, keeping my energy up. Like I said, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I've got 23 kids in my class, and it is go, 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 go all day. And then in order to come home and work my Plexus business, I have to have energy for that. And so that's been a huge game changer for me. But I will say that it was a little bit overwhelming having to think about having another job per se, or, something to do whenever I came home from school. But it has been the biggest blessing. One, because I have just developed this huge dream of, at some point getting to be a stay-at-home mom and all of these things that the Lord has just kind of laid on my heart that I would have never, ever thought was possible being a teacher. And so that's kind of driven me to be able to come home and do my business at home. And it's been really cool to get to share that with other teachers, share dreaming again with other teachers, and share the health side and helping other teachers find freedom through that. I love that I get to be with kids all day, and then I get to inspire them and motivate them and help them dream big. That's something that I would never trade for the world. I love getting to do that. But at the same time, whenever I am a mom, I want to be able to stay home with my kids. And my husband is a youth minister, and so I want to be able to help fund that. And so it was a no-brainer for me to start doing this business, seeing all of these teachers, one, or other people in the corporate world getting to their full time for a lot of years doing something else. And so that dream was just kind of breathed into me, and the products make it so easy to be passionate about, just because of how they've changed my health completely and totally. And it's so easy to just get to share with other teachers, like, hey, like, you need this. Like, we as teachers need energy. You can't say no to that. And so it's just been so cool to get to have this new platform of allowing teachers to find freedom, whether that's financially or whether that's health. And so I just have such a passion for teaching, but I have a passion for this business just because I've seen all that it has done for me, for my family, and for a lot of friends. And so I love getting to do what I do, and with teaching and with Plexus. And so hopefully one day the Lord will allow Plexus to be my full-time job. But for now, I'm learning a lot on how to balance the two, but it's very rewarding to get to just be able to do two different things that kind of are the same thing, and inspiring and helping people dream and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my Plexus story. And I'm just going to go ahead and pass it on to Melanie Bullis. I think I got that right. And she's going to go ahead and talk to you guys about her Plexus journey and her teaching journey.
Thank you, Caroline. That was great. Hello, everybody. My name is Melanie Bullis. I live in Virginia, Fredericksburg, Virginia, big Civil War area. I have been teaching for 17 years, but I have been an elementary music teacher for 15 years. This is my 15th year at the school, actually where I went to school. So it's neat that I've come full circle right back to where I began. I see the whole school, so my immunity is compromised by everyone, and not just one school, two schools. I'm a traveling teacher as well and go to a larger school to help out there. So I have probably 1,200 kids that I come in contact with on a weekly basis. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I absolutely love teaching. It is my passion, and it does not matter what I'm teaching about. I am a music teacher, but then I also have a part-time job as a church choir director and bell choir director, and so I teach that. I just came home from those rehearsals. I teach religious education at my church to fifth graders. So teaching about Plexus is just another avenue for me to teach and help people out. So I love doing it. How I got into this actually has to do with my health testimony. So I'm going to share that with you first, and then tie that into how I balance everything out. I found Plexus about 2.5 years ago through a friend of mine at church who I did know super well. We were in the choir together, but I just didn't know her super duper well. And we became friends on Facebook. And I was going through some pretty big health issues at the time. About 6 months, about a year prior to that, I had been in a really bad car accident that really messed me up pretty badly. A lot of health issues. My head took a really good whack, not once, but twice. And it left me with some issues that are permanent, but it's okay. I'm here. And but the stress of dealing with that took a final toll on me, and I kind of hit rock bottom. And my stomach, along with just many other things, was really, really messed up. And I basically lived in the bathroom. So what I was looking for was a probiotic. That's all I was looking for, was a probiotic. I just needed some relief. I didn't care about all the other things I was dealing with. I just needed a probiotic. And at that time, my friends' posts were coming up in my news feed, and I like natural things. I'm very much a natural kind of person. If I can find a way to do it without the aid of medications, I'm going to go that route first before going to medications. And I said, okay, I just want to try a probiotic. And I called her and talked to her, and she listened to me, but she said, what else are you dealing with? What else is going on? And I started opening up and telling her everything. And she recommended what she thought was the best for me, which ended up being the triplex. And I kind of went around back and forth, thought about it for a while. Finances were an issue for us at the time. And I almost said no. And my husband's like, listen, if you don't do this, then I'm just going to take you to the hospital and check you in. And that's where you're going to be. And I'm like, all right. So I just took a leap of faith and called her and said, all right, I'm just going to do this. I've got a couple family members who said they would do this with me, and we're going to support each other, and I'll earn a little bit of money to help pay for this. And that's about all you're going to get from me. She was like, okay. So that's how I started. And within a matter of a few days, things started turning around for me completely. My stomach was evening out. I started feeling better. I started to sleep just a little bit better. I started focusing a little bit better. And I was like, okay, so I don't know what's going on here, but this is some good stuff. And I kind of went in full force with taking the products and believing in them. And over a course of maybe the first 45, 50 days, I noticed some huge differences in me. Things that I was dealing with aside from the stomach issues, yes, they had corrected themselves. But when your head gets hit pretty hard the way mine was, and you have this thing that you have to deal with, you don't sleep, you don't concentrate, your memory is toast. You have some dizzy spells and balance issues and a lot of things that go along with this. And some of those things started correcting themselves, or they were helping me so that I did not need the aid of the medications that my neurologist wanted me on. So that made me happy. And then people started asking me, what are you doing? We're noticing this change in you. What's going on with you? And I started telling them, and just telling them what happened. And next thing I know, even though I had very adamantly told my friend, I am not working the business, don't ask me to do that, I don't have time for that, it happened anyway, because people kept asking me what was going on, and I would share with them, and they're like, well, I want to try this out too. And we went through the process, and they started seeing changes, and so people asked them, what are they doing? And it just kind of came this whole thing. And I tell people I fell into an accidental business. God knew I needed this financially. I just didn't know I needed it. I needed a huge wake-up call. And so that's how the business part came into teaching. I could stop my church job if I wanted to, because the income I'm making now has totally matched what I'm doing. But I don't have any desire to give it up. I love what I'm doing. I have no desire to give up teaching. I don't care how far I go in the company. Teaching is my passion. And as long as I can be in the classroom, that's where I'm going to be. So I'm going to stay doing that along with my business. So people ask me, how in the world do you balance everything? You are always doing something all the time. You're like, never sit still. You're never home. Well, because I like doing this and I love helping people and seeing their lives change, that's what drives me. So I get up early in the morning, or I use my planning periods or in between classes. And even if it's just 2 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll take that and do something if I need to. Or I'll stay up late after the kids go to bed, or I'll use the weekends. I just find the time. I make the time. I stop watching television and things that were just time wasters. And I found the time because it was a priority for me, because I love doing this. It's a passion of mine. And just seeing people change, like that's the fire. That's what fuels me to keep going and to find the time to do everything that I'm doing. So anyway, I hope I didn't ramble too much there, but I love what I'm doing. My whole health has improved like 100%. I'm the most chill teacher in the building, I think. And right this time of the year, we have like 27 days of school left. People are frantic. Our testings are getting ready to come up, and end of the year assessments and so on and so forth. And everybody's frantic. And I'm like, hey, I'm just here like chilling. Let's roll with it. It's all good. It's all good. Let's just go. And I've had an extremely healthy school year. I'm a happy teacher. I'm a happy wife. I'm a happy mom. I think my students benefit from that. I know my own boys benefit from it, as do my husband. And I wouldn't change this for anything. It's made such a positive impact on my life. I wouldn't change it for anything. So that's just a little bit of my story. Thank you for giving me the time to share tonight. And I think now I'm going to turn it over to my new friend, Stephanie Ramirez.
Thank you, Melanie. I just have to say Melanie and I are kindred spirits because we are both music teachers. We met because of a music teacher collaboration and found out that we both did Plexus, and that's how this kind of all came about. And like she said, music teachers, we see a lot of kids. I have 800 kids at my school. I teach K through 5. And throughout the day, I was just kind of doing the math. I see about 180 kids in my classroom a day, but I have morning duty with the whole school. I see them, in between things. I see a lot of children, a lot of wet shoelaces that they ask me to tie. And I say, I'm sorry, honey, tuck it into your shoe. I'm not touching that. And, just different things like that. So immunity is huge. And I wanted to share my story. I'm also a silver ambassador. And I've been doing the Plexus business for almost 2 years, but I've been on the products for a little over 2 years. And I just have to say that Plexus has honestly, in my opinion, saved my life, because I started it in a place of my life where I just thought there was nothing else that could work. I thought that there was no hope. I thought that I was just going to have to be miserable. I was a senior in college when I started. I was engaged to be married, and I wanted to feel good on my wedding day. I didn't want to feel miserable like I had been. I've been having stomach issues. I was having lack of energy, like big time. I didn't drink coffee before college, and I started to because I had so much to do and had to stay up, and almost pretty much became addicted to caffeine, and like that didn't work. So I was really looking for an alternative to that caffeine and to that need for some kind of stimulant to keep me going. So when I started Plexus, my dear friend Caroline, who's on here, was posting about a lot of the same things that I was dealing with. A lot of the things that she dealt with, I dealt with as well. We were in the same stage of life, and I saw that, and I really trusted her and thought, okay, I'll try it too. I had no skepticism at this point. I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try anything. And sure enough, within a couple of weeks, I started noticing changes in my stomach. And after about a month or two, I noticed really normalizations of my body, of my cravings. I used to crave bread a lot. Like, I still love bread, right? Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a slave to it. I'm not grabbing a bag of French bread at HEB every week. I'm not eating goldfish every hour. It's not a craving that I have anymore. I'm sleeping better. When I say that, I mean, I go to sleep and I stay asleep instead of waking up all the time and not falling asleep well. And then my energy, I don't drink caffeine. Like I said, I didn't really drink coffee before college, but I started to just because I needed to stay awake. And as a teacher, I love getting to tell other teachers that I don't drink caffeine, and I'm how I am now. This is me at, 7:20 in Texas, at least 7:20 in Texas. I just had a choir party this afternoon that was, in the shortest term I can say, just cray. And I'm sitting here so pumped and excited. And so I love getting to tell people when they ask me how do you stay so energized? I say, I don't drink coffee. I actually don't. I have this awesome drink that has no caffeine, and it keeps me like this. So, as a teacher, also the immunity is so important, but to me, the energy is what gets me. It's just amazing because I know how I was with caffeine, and I'm nowhere, I'm way beyond where I was with caffeine as far as energy. And I see so many teachers in the hallways that are just oh, it's Monday, or oh, it's Tuesday. And, and I'm just oh, I wish you could have what I have, and so I just try to be that positive light. And So speaking of that, that's kind of like my business is just a sharing tool that I have. I have it because I love that I get to pay for my products. I get to be with awesome people like this. I get to have a little bit extra income on the side, but also I just love helping people, and I love sharing the things that I'm passionate about as well, because I'm incredibly passionate about music. I consider myself the expert on my campus because I'm the only music person there. And I love teaching, like Melanie was saying, like teaching in itself is one of my joys. I love explaining things to people. I love breaking it down, and things like all of the ingredients in Plexus and all of the things about the compensation plan. I just love to break those things down and explain it to help people understand it better. And then in terms of health, I see that people hurt, and then I hurt for them. And I want them to come along and be with me and find that true health and happiness that I have found and I didn't have before. And so it's been a huge blessing to have Plexus, not just because of the health and not just because I'm making some money, but like I was saying, the people here are the most genuine people that I have ever met in any company, situation, group of people. I mean, anything as a whole. It's a very positive place. Whereas the school can tend to get a little bit negative sometimes, especially right now when STAR tests are happening next week in Texas. That's our standardized test. And things are just getting really tight and crazy. And you're just pushing for 3 more weeks, guys, 3 more weeks. And it's really hard to stay positive. And so this kind of community and culture where we build each other up, push each other on, and encourage people to reach what they want to reach. Like Caroline wants to be a stay-at-home mom. Melanie doesn't want to quit her job. I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I know that God has put this in my life for a reason, and God has clearly said that this is where I need to be. I need to be teaching. I need to be ministering at my church. I need to be ministering to people through Plexus and just being in community with them. And then this is just the avenue that we do it. And it just happens to be that I'm super passionate about what Plexus stands for. So I hope that is a good kind of synopsis of things and kind of gives a good glimpse of my life and how Plexus has brought us in. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Christina Mitty, who's going to share her story.
Hey everybody, my name is Christina Mitty. I'm a Sapphire ambassador and I live in Michigan, and I have been teaching for 17 years. I teach 5th grade right now. I've taught 4th or 5th grade my entire career, and I kind of I'm going to try to make a long 4-year story as short as I can and still give you guys all the good details that you need to know. But I started the products in January of 2014. My friend is a Diamond Ambassador, Corinne Grodi. She lives in Louisiana. We grew up together in Ohio. And she messaged me in October of 2013 and was like, you know what, I started this Plexus stuff and, you know, I'm not sure what it's really going to do for me, but I think that you would love this. And I literally ignored her messenger messages. So when you send a message and no one responds, don't get completely deflated that they don't ever want to do anything with it, because I just continued to watch her posts. And one day she posted that since she started Plexus, she didn't drink pop anymore. Soda, whatever you call it in your part of the country, but up here it's pop. And that's what got me interested, because I drank 8+ cans of Diet Coke every single day, literally. That was I don't drink, I don't smoke. That was my thing. I love Diet Coke. I had it everywhere. Kids would bring me cases of it. Parents would drop off Coke, Diet Coke. It was bad. And I was starting to have a lot of stomach issues and symptoms of just, too much artificial sweeteners and just bad stuff. And my husband said, you should kick this. This is not good. So when she posted that, and she had said that there was a 60-day money back guarantee, that's what got me interested, because at that point, my husband owns his own internet marketing company that he started when my daughter was 3 months old. So, at that point, she was maybe 4 when I started, 5. But anyway, I mean, my salary was the like more steady one, and I had the health insurance, and we had $1,400 a month in daycare at that point. So like an extra $100 and whatever was not really in our budget to even buy the products in the first place. But the fact that she said there was a 60-day money back guarantee, I was like, okay, so I'm going to charge this. I'm not going to tell my husband because he'll kill me when the credit card bill comes. So by the time the bill actually comes, I'll have some like time under my belt and I can see if this stuff is really any good. If not, I'm just going to go get my money back. And I ordered as a preferred customer. So after 3 days, I had not had a single pop at all. I called her and I said, okay, I don't know what is in this, and I don't really even care if I like grow another arm or another eye. I'm just so excited that I feel better, and I haven't had any pop. And like, honestly, this is even cheaper than what I'm spending on pop daily anyway. So my husband can't complain when the credit card bill comes, and this is like awesome. That's like all I cared about was like giving up Diet Coke. So she's like, well, okay, you should probably switch over to wholesale, and you'll get it cheaper. And then if you want to sell it, and I was like, okay, stop right there. I've already done other network marketing companies. Like, I'm very busy, kind of what Melanie said. Like, I like my life how it is. I'm busy. I have 2 little kids. My kids were really tiny then. I just don't want another thing on my plate. And she was like, okay, no pressure, but just know that, if that is something that you're interested in, then it's there. And I totally like blew her off. And I was like, that is never going to happen. I'm not going to be that annoying person who posts on Facebook. Not going to be that person to ask their friends to buy stuff. Like, no, not going to happen. So I went to school all excited, the next day, and my teaching partner is one of my very, very best friends. And I said, you don't really have a choice. Like, you're doing this with me. You're the reason why, like, we both have a Diet Coke addiction, because we would take turns, like, buying each other the pop. And, like, she had the same problem I had. So, like, I didn't even give her a choice. I just said, you're doing this with me. She was my very first ambassador. So then, of course, you get a BBB bonus the next Friday. I had money coming into my bank account. Like, what in the world is going on? So told a couple people at work, like, I'm the kind of person, if I eat at a restaurant that I like, if I shop at a store that I like, if I see a movie that I like, you're going to know about it, because that's just my personality. I love to tell people about things, whether I'm making money off of it or not. And next thing I knew, my very first month, I had a $550 paycheck, which way more than covered my products. And my husband was like, oh my gosh, like, what, like, did you do something illegal? Like, how did this all happen? I'm like, I just told people I like this stuff. That's what I do. And that's kind of what happened. So, 500 turned into 1,000, turned into 5,000, turned into 10,000. And in the 16 months I went Emerald. So I went Emerald in May of 2015. And, I don't know what you people make as teachers in other parts of the country, but here, with 17 years of experience, a master's degree, and a plus 30, I make almost $85,000 a year as a teacher. Okay, I make way more than that with Plexus, way, way, way more, especially take home. And I could have walked away from teaching at that point very easily. But I, just like Melanie said, like, I love teaching. I live and work, like, I could walk to school. I'm like a quarter mile from my school. I love the community I work in. I worked really, really hard to get hired here. It's a really, really nice area. My children go to school. Actually, my son will be in my building next year, which I think is going to be either super awesome or I'm going to hate it. I don't know which one it's going to be yet, one of the two. And I just didn't want to, I worked really, really hard, put in a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of energy to get where I am in my job. And I like what I do, and I was not ready to walk away from it. I didn't hate teaching, and I wasn't looking for a way to like get out of it. But like the supplemental income, which is actually like a double salary, is awesome to have, because that takes all the stress of like money off of our family. We fight about other things like anybody other normal family does. But the one thing we never fight about anymore, thanks to Plexus, is finances. We have, a hefty college fund going for both kids. We were able to purchase a dream house on Lake Michigan that we rent. So that's actually become another source of income. We don't really make any money because the mortgage and taxes and everything pretty much even out with our rental. But you know what I'm saying? Like, one day we could live there, retire there, and like, there's no way we could have ever been approved for that mortgage in a gazillion years if we didn't have Plexus. I'm totally rambling, I know, so I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But I'm not somebody that hated teaching and wanted to leave. So where I was is I went back to school that year after I went Emerald. And that December of that year that I went back after I went Emerald, I had to have foot surgery on my right foot. So I took 6 weeks off. And then my foot doctor said, you know what, you have to have surgery on the other foot. And it was a really long recovery, 16 weeks, no walking, no driving. This was my right foot, no weight bearing. I had to be on a scooter. It was the worst experience of my whole life. And I said to my husband, I don't want to miss 16 weeks of school when a school year is like 40 weeks. I think I'm going to take a year off and just kind of see, recover from my surgery, be a stay-at-home mom, see how that goes. I can go back to my position after the year if I don't like being home, or if I like being home, I can stay. And I just honestly, when I left, that was after the 2015-16 school year. So last school year, not this school year, but a year ago. I honestly, when I left and I packed up my classroom, I really was 50-50. I could have never come back, or I could have come back. And honestly, I didn't really even know. So I stayed home. I had my surgery in September, a week after the Hawaii Kona trip. And by the time I could walk and drive, it was after the first of the year in January. And I am a social person. I love to be around people. I love my Plexus team. I love my Plexus business. We can be on Zooms like this all day, but at the end of the day, I love to be around other people and daily and work with kids. And I just felt like there was a party going on at school and I wasn't there. Some people think I might sound insane because there are so many disgruntled teachers that hate what they do, but I'm not that person. So I hated not being a part of it, to be completely honest. I really wanted to be back and be doing what I'm doing in my teaching job. And I'm really good at balancing my time. So I never feel overwhelmed. Are some days overwhelming between Plexus and work? Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, my family and my husband, my kids, my, church duties, things that I do with, religious things, all of that comes first. And Plexus will fit. If people say they can't fit it in the nooks and crannies of the day, they're lying, because you can. You just have to want it, and you have to have a big why that's making you get up and work and do what you need to do. Like Melanie said, I get up early. I get up before everybody every day. I'm very proactive about getting things done at night for the next day. All these things that teachers are really good at, planning and organizing and having, their stuff in a row, I try to do. But at the end of the day, I am not a person that, like Melanie said, I'll be a diamond and I'll still be working. There's some sacrifices. I did not go to Hawaii this last September. I was very fortunate to get my exact same job back with my exact same team that I was working with. And honestly, I just felt like it would be kind of unprofessional to ask to take a week off. We don't start until after Labor Day up here. And that wasn't professionally what I wanted to do. So, I took off a couple days for Leaders Retreat and earned Disney tickets from the Leaders Retreat contest, had a ball with my family there in October, and there's going to be those kind of sacrifices. I don't know if I'll be able to go to Hawaii this September. No clue right now. Convention is the last week of school. So I'm not flying out there until Friday night when it's pretty much over, but still going to be able to go that day and fly out Sunday night. So there are definite sacrifices. I can't do everything, but at the end of the day, I love Plexus, but those, week trips or weekend trips or whatever, that's not worth giving up, my entire teaching career for those opportunities. But financially, Plexus way blows teaching out of the water. So if you are a teacher who does not want to do it anymore and you want to make, an income similar to what you're making now or more, it's definitely possible. You can totally do it with Plexus. But that's it. I don't know. That's kind of my story. Started with Diet Coke. I have way more health testimony to my story than the pop thing, but I really wanted to focus more on the business part since it was all a teacher thing.
Thank you. That was so good to hear. I really do love hearing all the different aspects of, your goals. And it's good to hear there's teachers that are happy, that love teaching, even after 18 years. It's so encouraging. But that there's an option for teachers that need to supplement. I mean, I know teachers that, couples who are teachers, both the husband and the wife. And I know just paying for health insurance is really, really difficult, at least here in Texas. I don't know about Michigan or wherever. So I've even thought, this would be a great way to be able for them to afford. Yes, go ahead, Christina.
I can say, well, when I wasn't teaching last year, we paid $2,000 a month for health insurance. So that for a family of 4. So
Yeah.
I'm self-employed. So just putting that out there.
No, and that's good. That's good to hear, because I mean, I think for a lot of teacher couples, that $2,000, that's a lot of money, and so just to think, wow, I could do something literally in the nooks and crannies of my normal profession and be able to cover things like health insurance and family vacations, the extra things that, as teachers, you sacrifice financially so that you can, fulfill your calling to be a teacher. But just to know that there's this opportunity out there, and I love the fact that y'all all share, you get to incorporate your teaching heart with Plexus. So it's really not that far removed. But does anybody on here, do y'all have any questions for any of the ambassadors that shared? Because I'd love to open it up like an open forum. No pressure. I actually have a question. So it's May, and so you've got, for all of us that have teacher friends that are thinking about their summer schedule, and they love the freedom of having summers off, but they could really use supplemental income. One of the things that I've noticed is we can make a whole lot more with Plexus in a smaller amount of time than you could any summer job. I'd love to hear, can any of y'all speak to that and just share for anybody that might listen to the recording later?
I have something. Was that last year? Oh, I'm sorry, Melanie. Were you going to speak? Okay, last year, so this is my first full year of teaching. Last year was half student teaching, half substitute teaching. And so it was a toss-up with my schedule, but it was still really, really busy. And in the summer, I was really able to spend lots of time, as much time as I wanted, on my business, talking to people, going to lunch, calling people, doing things like this. And that's when I hit silver. Like, I had been in the business for a while, and it was slower moving. And then I had that time to really dedicate to all of that. And it just was like, boom, 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 boom. Like, so much stuff happened in almost like a week, even, just like lots of building up to that point. And then from then I was able to do a lot of building for the rest of the summer and into the school year to really build a foundation for my business during my first year of teaching that has just been a whirlwind to really set that foundation. So for someone who's, wanting to start out and just curious about it and wanting to do that because they know the school year is busy and say, like, I don't have time for that you can do so much during the summer to set that foundation to make it more doable during the school year. That's what I would say.
That's good. Melanie, were you going to say something?
I was just going to share what the things that I've been able to supplement with the extra income coming in. I have 2 older boys. One is going to turn 13 on Monday. I'm going to have a teenager in the house. And one just turned 11. And they are active in sports and in music. And they had wanted to do things like take lessons or be on sports teams, so on and so forth. And we just couldn't afford to give them those opportunities until recently. And I didn't have to, my husband and I both, he's a teacher too. So we're the 2 teacher income, he's a band director. So we're both musicians too. But neither one of us had to take on yet another job to provide these things for our boys. So now, like, my youngest son can take piano lessons, and he plays the French horn, and he's doing basketball with camps and whatnot. My oldest son is a tuba player. Tubas are very expensive. I'm going to need to take out like a personal loan to buy him a new tuba because he's growing and he's outgrown what he's playing now. And he also is very passionate about playing soccer. He's a goalkeeper, and he moved up in skill to where he needed to be on a travel team. And if anybody knows anything about travel sports, they are expensive. But we've been able to do this for both of them, and they have just, the experiences have caused them to blossom into these well-rounded young men who've had these experiences and teamwork and personal practices and things like that. And I am very thankful for the opportunity to give that to them, because otherwise they would not have, we could not afford it for them.
That's good. That's good. And, I was thinking too, just, if y'all could share just even a little bit, if someone that's never done this and they're envisioning this is like other network marketing companies they've thought of or they've tried. I mean, I know in my mind how many hours a day you could do it in, but can y'all just even tell them how doable it really is? Like, do you have to do parties, or do you have to stock inventory, or do you have to do anything special if you don't want to?
No, and that's the beauty of this. There are no parties. There's no inventory. There is no push to make a quota. What I like about this, I mean, everybody kind of has their own style of when they are going to share or do anything with anyone. And I think we all need to understand that. But for me and my personality, I like that I can just simply share and talk to people because I have everyone's best interest at heart, and I'm genuine about that. And if I can help them, I want to help them. But if they, they're not interested, that's cool too. But that's what I like about this. It's just seriously about sharing. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I would add to that. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just maybe expound on how simple and doable it really is. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of people think they don't have time because they see their week and they see how busy it is. And I know for me as a music teacher, I know a lot of music teachers, and we do programs, and we have most of our things are outside of school. And so we have so many things in the mornings and the evenings, and a lot of prep that goes into it outside of school. And I can see how you would think that. But here's the thing. I have a couple of days a week where I don't have anything at night. And so I bulk up on what I'm going to do with Plexus on those couple of days. And so doing it every day was too overwhelming for me. So I don't do that. But I do a couple of days a week, and I do a lot more of it. And so I do share that with people, saying, look, you can do it however you want to. It just is a matter of if you're doing it or not, if you want to do this, you can do it however you want to. And that's what's so awesome, because with teaching, I have expectations that I have to meet with certain things. I have school-wide, community-wide things that I have to put on, that I have really high expectations. And, I'm happy to meet those. But with Plexus, I meet my own expectations. So I set my own standards, and I get to meet those. And if I don't meet those, then I look for how I can make it better. And then my friends are like, you know what, it's okay. Here's how you can do better, and you move on. And I love that you can do it however you want. And I think it's really great for teachers. I'll just say this small piece, but I think it's really great for teachers for a couple of reasons. Number one, we all like to be in charge. So you get to be in charge of yourself, and you get to do whatever you want to do. You don't have to have a boss. You are your own. And the second is that we're really good at explaining things, and we're really good at breaking things down, and we're really good at leading people and encouraging and inspiring. And so I think, and I would say maybe the other teachers would agree, that this business, I mean, it's built for everybody, but it's perfect for teachers. And it's a perfect avenue to either get out of your job or stay in your job, refine your job even as an actual teacher, and even just use that skill that you've been given in a different avenue.
That's good. That's great. That's awesome. Okay. Well, all right. Does anybody have a question? I don't want to stop if anybody does. All right. Well, thank y'all for giving us your time on this busy night. I really appreciate it. Christina, Melanie, Stephanie, and Caroline. I just really appreciate y'all doing this for me. Anyway, but y'all have a wonderful night and a wonderful week. And I'll talk to y'all soon, hopefully. All right. Bye.